the Rangers might just have the best rotation in all of baseball, and with how cold the bats have been, it seems like they might just need it.
You are Locked On Rangers, your daily Texas Rangers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
You are locked onto the Texas Rangers, the first and best daily Rangers podcast. I'm Bryce Patrick, a cripplingly addicted Texas Rangers fan covering this team for 12 seasons, including all 7 as the founder and host of this podcast. Thank you all so much for making Locked On Rangers your first listen every single day. If you not already, can follow me on Twitter at Bryce Patrick. You can follow the show at Locked On Rangers. Hit subscribe on your favorite podcasting platform and on YouTube, where the best way you can help grow the show is to comment nearly any single thing below. Now, on today's show, we're talking about the Rangers having probably the best rotation in all of baseball right now. The bats, are they cold? Are they unlucky? Or are they just bad? And we'll talk a little bit more about when Jack Leiter is coming back. But first, this episode is brought to you by Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. Now, the Rangers dropped 2 out of 3 this weekend against the reigning champion Los Angeles Dodgers, despite having no Shohei Ohtani in the lineup for 2 of the first 3 games. Congratulations to the Ohtani family. Ohtani becoming a father for the first time. I really wish he could have taken one extra day to go and be with his son and maybe missed the entire series in Texas. Alas, that was not the case. Really wish that this Ranger team could have scored more than 3 runs for the entire series, but alas, that was not the case. But it's a Monday morning, and I want to start with some of the positive. You know, it's easy to be a little grumpy after a weekend series loss, especially coming off an off day where there's not going to be any new wins to talk about, unfortunately, on tomorrow's show. But there were a lot of positives from this weekend. Even though the Rangers got shut out twice this weekend, not great. We'll talk about the offense in the second segment, and why I think that hitting the absolute panic this team sucks button is definitely absolutely premature, because part of this team you cannot say sucks is this rotation. This is the best rotation in all of baseball right now, with someone who has been the best starting pitcher in all of baseball. No, it's not Jacob deGrom. No, it's not Nathan Eovaldi. No, it's not Patrick Corbin. It is Tyler freaking Mahle. Yet again, 7 shutout innings against the best lineup in all of baseball. The best lineup with 3 straight MVPs. Coming back to this lineup, didn't matter. It didn't matter that Ohtani was back in this lineup, because Tyler Mahle has been exceptional to start this season. And it is time to start giving him his freaking props. He is 3-0, leads Major League Baseball. Again, leads Major League Baseball through 5 starts with a 1.5 baseball reference WAR, leads Major League Baseball with a 0.68 ERA. I say that again. Leads Major League Baseball with a 0.68 ERA in 5 starts. That's basically a month. 26 2/3 innings in those first 5 starts. And that's even with 1 start where he went an inning and a third, 2/3, and gave up a run and just did not look good in that first game. He has been untouchable since then. 25 strikeouts, does have 12 walks, a Major League Baseball best ERA plus, where, remember, 100 is average. This is counting in park factors and things like that. 100 is average, and the higher it is, the better it is. Leads Major League Baseball with a 5.76 ERA plus. That means he is more than 5 times better than the average Major League starter. He has been that good. Also leads Major League Baseball with 3.4 hits per 9 innings. Leads Major League Baseball with a whopping 0 home runs allowed so far this season. He's just been dominant. And if you want to look at the FIP to say, oh, well, he's walking 4.1 per 9. He's only striking out, 8.4 per 9, not even a strikeout per inning. His FIP is 2.51. So even if the ERA may be a little lucky, and maybe it might be, he has just been downright exceptional. The Rangers' best starter in a weekend filled with great starts. Some of you may have watched the first 5 seconds of Jacob deGrom start and saw him give up a home run and say, oh, wow, this guy's a bum. You know, the Rangers should just cut him. $40 million, what a waste. And then Jacob deGrom looked incredible for the whole rest of that start. 7 innings, his best start of the season. Also, another great start from the Rangers' other ace, Nathan Eovaldi. Maybe the Rangers have 3 of a kind in terms of aces at the top of their rotation. Eovaldi's ERA is 2.64, leads Major League Baseball with those 5 games started. Same with Tyler Mahle, an ERA plus of 147. His FIP is also below 3. Filling independent pitching just counts. It's basically the same. What's good for an ERA is good for an FIP. It only counts what pitchers can control. Walks, strikeouts, and home runs. Takes defense completely out of account. Also leads Major League Baseball with 0.6 walks per 9 innings. And leads Major League Baseball with 15 and a half strikeouts per night. Strikeouts per walk. Let me say that again. 15 and a half strikeouts for every single walk that he has thrown this year. 2 walks in just shy of 31 innings, and 31 strikeouts. He has been incredible. Jacob deGrom looked incredible in his start this weekend, and you go back the last time, this homestand, in 6 starts against not just middling bad offense. It's not like this team was facing the Pirates and these starting pitchers were putting up these kind of performances. No, this is the Dodgers. The Dodgers, the unbeatable Dodgers lineup that just won the World Series and then added even more talent to this lineup. Even more talent. And the Rangers starting pitcher said, no, I don't care. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're Shohei Ohtani. I don't care if you're Tommy Edman. I don't care if you're Babe Ruth, Hank Aaron. I don't care who you are. I'm shutting you down. And that's what they did this weekend. A combined 20 innings, 20 strikeouts, just 3 earned runs from Rangers starters this weekend. That's it. That's all this greatest offense possibly ever could muster against the Rangers this weekend. That's it. That's all they could do. You look through this weekend, this whole week, this whole homestand, actually, and the Rangers starting pitchers have been exceptional. You go to that first game in this homestand against the Angels, who, granted, have been scuffling a bit, basically since the Rangers made them scuffle. But heading into that series against the Rangers, this Angels offense was one of the best in baseball. And Tyler Mahle, in that first game, went 6 shutout innings, 9 strikeouts, looked absolutely untouchable. Then, here comes Patrick Corbin. 5 1/3 innings, just 1 run and 6 strikeouts. He looked exceptional. And then to finish it off, the bad start, 7 innings of 3-run ball and 8 strikeouts, a career best, a first career win for Kumar Rocker. This rotation is absolutely dominant at this point. It is the second best rotation ERA in all of baseball. Through 22 games, the Rangers have a 2.85 ERA as a rotation. Not one guy having a 2.85 ERA. That's pretty solid. If you have 2 guys in your rotation that have a combined 2.85 ERA, that's pretty good. If you got 3 combined guys that have a combined ERA of 2.85, that's a really good rotation. Honestly, you should feel really good about your starting rotation. If you have 6 different guys through 22 games in a season that have a sub-3 ERA, everybody in your rotation has a combined sub-3 ERA. That is an exceptional rotation. That is an exceptional strength of this team that was thought to be maybe a middle-of-the-pack rotation. Maybe this rotation would be okay. Maybe this rotation would be, fine. Maybe they'd be pretty good. Jacob deGrom, he's pretty good, so he's probably going to be pretty good. Nathan Eovaldi, he's been pretty good, but everyone thought, oh, well, he's in his mid-30s now, so he's probably washed. He's probably bad. Tyler Mahle, he made 3 starts coming back from Tommy John surgery. He's never been healthy. I don't know if he's actually that good. Oh, by the way, he's just one of the best starters. No, he's the best starter in all of baseball through 22 games this season. Oh, there's a couple rookies in Jack Leiter and Kumar Rocker. I don't know if they're actually any good, and they've been exceptional. And that is with 2 massive injuries to both John Gray and to Cody Bradford, who are going to both be out at least 2 months to start this season. And then they signed an emergency Patrick Corbin, and through 2 starts, he's been really good. I mean, honestly, really good. Not just, oh, he's pretty good for Patrick Corbin. No, he's just been pretty darn good in difficult spots with literally no spring training. Just one 85 pitch simulated game, and here you go, go to the Wolves. And he has been really good. And even Jack Leiter has been on the shelf. We'll talk about when he's coming back later. But don't discount what this rotation has done so far. Maybe there will be a couple of rough games here and there, but overall, this rotation is one of, if not the best in all of baseball. I don't think it's going to get that much worse. Nathan Eovaldi is just freaking good. Jacob deGrom has barely hit his stride yet, and he's getting better. Kumar Rocker, Jack Leiter, both of them are rookies and building on each one of their starts. And Tyler Mahle, he might not do this all season, but if he's anywhere close to this for even most of this season, this is one of the best rotations, if not the best rotation, the Texas Rangers have ever had. And that's even with these bats being cold. Are they bad? Are they unlucky? We're going to talk about which it is right after this. This show is brought to you by Monarch Money. Ever check your bank account and wonder, where did my money go? Between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment, it's easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes in, your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app, it is a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place. So you stop just managing your money, and you start building wealth. When I started using Monarch, I realized just how much I was spending on food delivery, and now I budget smarter and save more. Instead of juggling multiple apps, you can use Monarch to check your finances, track spending, and even plan long-term goals. So take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's Monarch Money, code LOCKEDONMLB for half off your first year. Shout out to the everydayers making Locked On Rangers your first listen every single day. On tomorrow, she'll be back talking about this series against the A's, what to expect from the first series in a minor league ballpark of the year. The first of, unfortunately, many. But this offense did not do its job this weekend. Scored a whopping 4 runs over a 3-game series against the Dodgers, and all those came on 2 swings. Just 2 swings scored all the Rangers' runs this weekend. One, a 2-run bomb from Kyle Higashioka off of Roki Sasaki. And number 2, the walk-off bomb from Adolis Garcia. I mean, oh my goodness. Of course it was Adolis Garcia. Of course it was against former Ranger great Kirby Yates. This was just an incredible walk-off win, a win where maybe the Rangers should have had a few more runs, maybe the Rangers could have had a few more runs, but just exceptional plate appearances by both Josh Smith, who was just feet away from a game-tying home run before what ended up being the walk-off home run. Just an exceptional bit of hitting by Joshua H. Pookie Smith, who is going to be playing, I think, a lot this year, because so far he is the Rangers' best hitter. I mean, he had 3 of the Rangers' 5 hits in the series finale against the Dodgers, and if he had just one more, maybe it could have tied this game. Maybe the Rangers, maybe if it was over the fence, if it was over the fence, it would have won this game for the Rangers, or at the very least tied it. But alas, that was not the case for this Rangers offense. It was just, honestly, a lot of it was unlucky. This Rangers team, it may be frustrated here. Oh, it's unlucky. Oh, it may just seem, like I'm just trying to pump sunshine. But honestly, it really was a lot of bad luck for the Rangers in this series. In terms of how hard they hit the ball, in terms of, what they were doing with their plate appearances, this team should have, mathematically, scored a lot more runs than they did. You look at the expected batting average from the Rangers versus the Dodgers in all 3 games in this series. The Rangers were much better in terms of their expected batting average. You look at the last game of this series. The Dodgers had 3 hits. They had just 3 hits. They were 0 for 5 with runners in scoring position. The only run that they scored was on a sac fly. They had a .222 expected batting average in the final game of this series. The Rangers had 5 hits to the Dodgers' 3 hits in that final game. Rangers' expected batting average, 46 points higher, a .268 expected batting average. You look at the 3-0 shutout where the Rangers lost. A .256 expected batting average for the Rangers, 7 hits to just 5 hits for the Dodgers, who had a .215 expected batting average. You look at the win that the Rangers had, a 258 expected batting average. That was the only game where the Dodgers actually out-hit the Rangers. Dodgers had 3 runs on 6 hits. The Rangers had 4 runs on 5. But the Dodgers' expected batting average was just 207. The Rangers pitchers, it wasn't just that they limited him. They limited any kind of even expected damage from this massive, unstoppable juggernaut Dodgers lineup that scored just 3 runs in 2 of the 3 games, and then just 1 run in the final game, where the Rangers were having good at-bats, good plate appearances, heck, should have been good results. It was just a matter of luck. And these expected batting averages aren't some just mythical number made up in the sky. They are expected because they are what happens on batted balls like that, on all batted balls like that. That's where they get this expected batting average of balls that are hit with that exit velocity at that launch angle that far. That is what mathematically should be happening. And the Rangers have gotten unlucky. You look at their expected batting average, their expected slugging percentage for most of the guys in this lineup, from Josh Young to Corey Seager to Marcus Semien to Jock Peterson to Adolis Garcia to Jake Berger especially. You look at what their actual slugging percentage is versus their expecting slugging percentage, and for most of them, it's about 100 points lower. So these guys are making good contact. They are making, for the most part, good swing decisions. They could always stand to make a little bit better swing decisions. They could stand to swing just a little bit less. They've been a pretty aggressive swinging team. But you look at how hard they're hitting the ball and, where they're hitting. It just happens to be at fielders. And the crazy thing is, with this Rangers expected batting average being, so much higher than the Dodgers and still not being able to score runs, it's not usually things like that. If a team isn't scoring runs and their expected batting average is high, usually it's because the defense is making some incredible plays. But that was a little bit the case for this Dodgers team. But for the most part, this Dodgers defense is not good. It's actually very bad. There's basically 1.5 defenders at any point in time that are even average. I mean, Mookie Betts is not a good defensive shortstop. Max Muncy is not a good defensive third baseman. Heck, whoever they've got at second base, usually not great. It's just wherever Tommy Edman is, that's the only good defender on the field usually. Will Smith is a fine defensive catcher, but you look in the corner outfield with Teoscar Hernandez and everybody else that they've put out there in situations. Freddie Freeman's not necessarily a great defender at first base, even though for some reason he has a Gold Glove. I don't know why. Mainly it's because he hits well. But this Rangers team, a lot of it is just bad luck. And eventually you're going to need to get past that bad luck. Eventually that luck is going to start to turn. But you look at this team, this lineup, it is just too good to keep being this bad. I keep saying that, but eventually it's going to be true because I feel like there's not a whole lot of nuance left in the world, especially when evaluating a baseball team, especially when evaluating a sports team. There's just kind of people are like, oh, well, that guy sucks or he's awesome. There's no in between. It's either, oh, that guy's old, so he's washed now, or, oh, he's figured it out. He's back. I implore you, just add a little bit more nuance to how you view the world, how you view baseball, because it is a long season. It is a random sport. There are 162 games, and eventually these things just start to level off. Eventually, the things that are expected to happen. When you're hitting balls hard, when you're having good plate appearances, and they're just finding fielders, eventually those things start to drop. And eventually those things start to go your way. I mean, these bats, they have been doing mostly really good things for their careers. Now this year, most of them have been ice cold. Most of them. Jock Peterson is in an 0 for 30-something, 3 plate appearances shy of the Rangers 0 for record, which was set by Justin Foscue last year. That was rough to watch. But Justin Foscue was a rookie who had no major league experience. Jock Peterson has been an exceptional hitter for a dozen years or so. I mean, these bats will eventually find holes, and I'm pretty sure that it's going to happen sooner as opposed to later. And there's no better pitching staff to face than this A's pitch. Well, maybe the White Sox pitching staff would be a better pitching staff to face, but there aren't that many better pitching staffs and better ballparks to start to get your offense going. I mean, Jock Peterson got himself a day off on Sunday with Wyatt Langford coming back into this lineup. I think that more had to do with getting Wyatt Langford into the lineup, keeping Josh Smith in this lineup, who needs to stay in this lineup basically every single day, because Josh Smith, even with Corey Seager, catching fire and looking more like himself, even with the re-addition of Wyatt Langford into this lineup, I think that Josh Smith has been the Rangers' best hitter for all of last year and for the first month of this season. But eventually these balls will start finding holes. Eventually this team will start getting those wins, and they were probably due for at least one more, at least tying up this game. If not for a couple of, I don't want to say controversial, I just want to say bad ways to end these two games. We're talking about why the Rangers should have had at least one more opportunity to win that game on Sunday. But maybe these umpiring crews in Secaucus, New Jersey, or wherever the heck these replay centers are, I don't know what the heck they're doing, but it's time to figure it out. Shout out to the Air Daves making Locked On Rangers your first listen every single day after Tuesday night's game. Actually, after every single game, you can catch the Rangers postcast with Jeff Biggs, doing a great job this weekend, keeping y'all updated while I was enjoying my weekends away. He will be with you after every single game. He does a great job, so go check out his shows live immediately on YouTube after the Rangers are done, and should be in your Locked On Rangers podcast feeds. Not much more after that. Now, this Rangers offense could have had a few more opportunities, if not for two very controversial and just honestly bad ways to end the only two losses for the Rangers in this series. On Friday night's game, just one of the weirder plays I've seen. Josh Jung rounds into a double play to end the game on a ball that was foul. It was just a foul ball down the third baseline, and the umpire at the third baseline is just sitting there waiting, holding his hands up in the air, both hands in the air, which means foul. And then at the very, very last second, just decides to say, oh, nope, fair ball, and points fair. So Josh Jung is not running it out. He honestly should just be running it out no matter what. But at that point, it was just confusing to see him say foul ball, foul ball, foul ball, foul ball. Oh, just kidding. Well after the ball had already passed third base, which is where you decide if it's foul or fair. It can stay in foul territory, but if it jumps into fair territory right at third base, then it's a fair ball. If it's fair, and then goes foul right before third base, then it's a foul ball. It's all about where that happens. And it looked very clearly on the replay like it was a foul ball. And I don't know why the umpire decided to just keep his hands up in the air saying it's foul before the ball was in a place where you could decide if it is foul or fair. Maybe it was fair. Maybe that was the decision. But just the way that it went about it just felt icky. It felt wrong. It didn't feel nearly as icky as the way that the Sunday game ended, with Wyatt Langford on first base after beating out an infield single. He attempted to steal second base with 2 outs and Jake Berger up at the plate. And at first glance, it looked like he very clearly beat the throw. Then he was ruled out on the field. His leg popped up a little bit off the bag. You're like, okay, well, I guess that's the game. But the Rangers had their challenge left, so why not challenge it? It's the end of the game. You can't take your challenge with you. And on replay, it looked like Wyatt Langford just did just enough to spread eagle apart his legs, where the tag came off of his leg as he's popping up, and he got his toe, looked very clearly to Wyatt Langford, to everyone watching the replay on the big board, including the Dodgers second baseman Rojas, who tagged him out. He said, I thought I got him. I thought I kept that tag on, but, looking at the replay on the big board, I thought, oh, it looked like my glove came off of his leg at the point where his leg was off the base, his toe was off the base, and then it looked like I didn't get it back on before he touched back up. And everyone seemed to see it this way. Everyone in the stands seemed to see it this way. Everyone on the field, everyone else, if it was a part of the play, saw it the same way. But the umpiring crew in New York or New Jersey, or whatever one of those states it was, that was reviewing this play said, nope, it's fine. Everything's fine. No need to worry. Dodgers get to win. Let's go home. Don't worry about it too much. It was just an incredibly infuriating and frustrating way to end a baseball game. And even more annoying that the Dodgers admin was tweeting out a replay of this, just saying, he's out. Ha ha ha. Suck it. We're the Dodgers. Everyone loves us. Everyone's obsessed with us. Everything is about us. It just felt stupid and disingenuous and like a completely incorrect call that they just wanted to be done with and just go ahead and move on. I'm not saying there's some grand conspiracy to give the Dodgers every single win that they can. I'm not saying that, but it just felt like a very obvious replay that should be overturned. Now, maybe the very next pitch Jake Burger would have struck out. Maybe on the very next pitch, Jake Burger would have hit a walk-off home run, and the Rangers would have had 2 walk-off home run wins in a row. That would have been sick. That would have been my ideal way to end this game. Actually, my ideal way to end this game is that the Rangers, scored a lot throughout the game and just were better offensively and luckier offensively than they had been all series long and just scored, 15, 20 runs. Maybe scored 24 runs like the Reds did against the Orioles on Sunday. That would honestly been my ideal way to end this game. But then maybe Tyler Mahle wouldn't have been able to go 7 shutout innings, and maybe it wouldn't have been as impressive of him pitching all of those 7 shutout innings in a close ball game. But alas, that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes, and sometimes the cookie sucks. And in terms of that 9th inning for the Rangers on Sunday, that cookie, that was an oatmeal raisin type of cookie. It just sucked, and it did not feel satisfying in the way that it absolutely should have. Now, the Rangers got Wyatt Langford back. They did not have him in the lineup on Saturday because it was a quick turnaround, because it was an afternoon game right after a night game. He didn't have enough time to fully rest and recover, or whatever the deal was. I thought that was a little silly because all the talk was, Wyatt Langford is going to be activated the second he's available to be activated off the IL. I don't know why that was the case, but unfortunately, that was it. Jack Leiter was eligible to be activated off the IL on Friday. It seemed like always that was not going to be the case. They were going to reevaluate how he looked and felt after that 53-pitch live bullpen session on Thursday, without any kind of glue or adhesive or whatever it was on that blister. And apparently it didn't feel good enough because Jack Leiter is going to be making a rehab start on Tuesday in Round Rock. Unfortunately, it is not going to be in Frisco because Frisco is on the road this week. Very, very annoying for me because I would have loved to have seen Jack Leiter at his apex now against AA hitters, because he would make them look very, very stupid if he looked anywhere near as good as he looked in his first 2 starts of the year. But Jack Leiter is going to throw in Round Rock on Tuesday. We'll see how many pitches he gets up to and when exactly he rejoins this Rangers rotation, because the rotation at this point for this series against Oakland, no longer Oakland, just the Yolo County A's, is going to go on Tuesday. It is Patrick Corbin versus Osvaldo Bido. On Wednesday, it is going to be Kumar Rocker versus JP Sears. That should be a good matchup. And then on Thursday, Jacob deGrom versus JT Ginn? One of those two. Ginn. I think it's Ginn, but I'm not entirely sure. I am entirely sure that it shouldn't matter, particularly because Jacob deGrom is throwing against him. So hopefully the Rangers don't drop any more Jacob deGrom starts, because all of those should be wins. All of those should be massive wins, especially against this A's team, which can hit a lot, and has Tyler Soderstrom, who is the breakout hitter of the season so far, one of the best hitters in all of baseball, a guy who was just kind of an afterthought last year, made some big changes, and has always had big power, and now is having big old power in games. But this A's rotation is just not that good. So hoping that this can be the series that the Rangers are able to finally get their bats going. This ballpark is a bit of a hitter's paradise so far this season. Maybe that's just because the A's pitchers haven't been going so well. Maybe that's just because, I don't know, they played the Cubs and the Cubs just absolutely walloped them. But hopefully this is the series where things start to break right for the Rangers. But it seems like in terms of guys who are on this roster and hitters who have been performing well, I got to give a shout out to Dustin Harris, who I was very certain would be headed back down when Wyatt Langford came off the IL. But it seems like that's not the case. It seems like Dustin Harris is going to be here to stay. Dustin Harris was a Rangers prospect that had been in my top 30. I think I just left him off this year, which looks like a big old miss for me. He made his big league debut last year on game 162, got his first hit, his first big league extra base hit, his first big league RBI, and his first big league home run on game 162 last year. The Rangers got him from the A's in a trade for Mike Minor. Looks like an absolutely massive win for the Rangers in terms of that trade. But he's a guy who's always been able to, he's always been a very, very fast player, always been pretty darn athletic. Switched to the outfield a couple of years ago. He's played a little bit of third base last year, 12 games there. Played a little bit of first base as well. Was originally a third baseman, then made the transition to the outfield back in 2022. He's been primarily an outfielder ever since then. He's very fast. He usually works his fair share of walks. He's been a very strong player, but just hasn't hit the ball with authority in games much in his minor league career, and that's kind of been the one thing that he hasn't done well. But if he figured out how to do that, then it seemed like, oh, well, he might actually be an everyday big leaguer, and so far he's doing that. He's putting together some quality plate appearances so far. I know it's only been 8 games, but he's hitting 300. He's got an on-base of 333. He's got an OPS of 883. I mean, he's been fearless so far in these spots. He's playing outfield defense well in center field and left field and right field. He feels comfortable in all those spots. And, with Leody Taveras having quite a few defensive lapses and not bringing a whole lot to the team offensively, I know he's got a team leading 6 stolen bases, and he's been occasionally good for sparking a rally with a bunt single and then stealing second base and then sometimes moving over to third base on a wild throw from the catcher. Right now, Dustin Harris is just a better player than them, and he is probably going to be getting more than Leody Taveras in terms of the starts in center field. I like that. I think that is the correct move for now. I don't know if it's going to keep up. I think eventually the starting pitchers might start to adjust to Dustin Harris, but right now he has been a very, very good player for this Rangers offense that has been kind of lacking good players, lacking impact on the field. And he has been one of the few guys who has been hitting the ball well, that has had these hits actually land for hits and extra base hits. And if you can keep that, if you can get somebody else in your lineup that is making this lineup even deeper, at this point, the Rangers need every single bit of offensive help they can get. But still, the Rangers rotation is looking very, very good. A frustrating weekend to drop 2 out of 3 against a Dodgers team where you could have had maybe all 3. But hey, honestly, not a terrible weekend, despite it feeling like it with the way these things ended. That's going to do it for today's show. Thank you all so much for listening and subscribing. And until next time, don't forget to enjoy baseball.